Be sure to stay through the closing remarks. To kick things off, we're excited to welcome Josh Skeen of Logically for this morning's keynote, Cybersecurity and AI, Domain-Specific Agentic and Gen AI Values on Risk Reduction, Resiliency, and Compliance. And following that, our CEO, Chandra Pandey and Roger Newton of Logically will have a fireside conversation exploring practical insights from the frontiers of cybersecurity transformation. So let's get started, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Maggie. Thanks a lot. And thanks, Josh and Roger, for joining. Ladies and gentlemen, today's keynote speaker is not just a leader for a company. He is helping lead the movement. And I will kind of just give you guys a context. Almost 6-7 years back, he was somebody who kind of like said that, hey, look,
recording in progress.
Cybersecurity threats cannot be just handled with the way the people has been doing because they are evolving faster than ever. And AI is needed to kind of like take that and make it much more efficient as well as proactive in the nature. So he endorsed the AI almost 7 back. A lot of people are just talking. He is the one of those leaders who has been reshaping the industry with the AI in cybersecurity, as well as once he took the leadership CEO role at the Logically, he has been doing that as well. So he is kind of that kind of a leader. As a CEO of Logically, he's guiding one of the nation's top MSSP through his bold cybersecurity first transformation. And, he has been hands-on in the trenches. He's that kind of leader who scaled Sudent into a force in cybersecurity. And now he's scaling a vision that puts platform like Sentry XDR 360 at the center of intelligence, proactive defense, and keeping his customers ahead of any of those threats in there. But that's not just true, which is setting him apart. What he sets him apart is his passion for the people and purpose. He's a mentor, he's a culture leader, and a relentless advocate for doing the cybersecurity the right way. With the clarity, transparency, and the heart. You will hear a lot about it from his company. People will talk about it, it's like how he's building the culture. He's available to all of his team members, mentoring them. Whatever they need, he's there with them. He is here to challenge us. He always challenges us, inspire us, and to show us what is possible when we are paired with the power of AI, as well as purpose of protecting what matters the most. And one of the things I want to point out that, on the AI, not only he has been looking into is like, hey, how you kind of like, domain specific AI, agentic AI, Gen AI, but how you solve the real problem and make sure that you are protecting what matters the most for the end customer. He's passionate about taking care of the customers, and his cybersecurity first has been the first MSSP or MSP leader of that big of a company has taken the approach. So I'm really proud to welcome him. And Josh, you want to take it over, sir?
Yeah, thanks so much, Chandra. I appreciate being here. It's been a great partnership that we've had, going on 6-7 years now, and it's been a great journey. And I probably owe you some money for that introduction. That was a heck of an introduction. Hopefully, I can live up to that intro. But from a Sekion standpoint, it's been really great partnership for us, and we continue to grow that partnership and expand upon it. And we were one of the first ones, as Chandra pointed out early in this journey of leveraging AI. And I even know, some of the backstory from a Sekion perspective. Chandra's team, they were so far out in front of what others were doing in the market that it was hard for people to kind of really believe what they were able to do, and even how to categorize them sometimes of what they were doing and maybe what they were having as a differentiator in the market. But it's been an amazing journey with Sekion, and it continues to be that way. And I'd love to continue to see the expansion that Sekion has as well. And it's important for us as cybersecurity practitioners to continuously look to the future and try to figure out what's next, how we can better protect the businesses that we're protecting, whether that's our own or others. Also looking at how we can better protect individuals, users, devices. And then, also there's a mentorship aspect of that too, of being able to be there for our employees and help guide their lives through this digital transformation as well. Because make no mistake, not only is AI going to impact us from a business perspective, and it has. I mean, the reality is AI has been impacting us for over a decade now, and many just didn't realize it. But it's really going to creep into our personal lives. And as cybersecurity practitioners, we owe that to the people that do not understand technology like we do, and they do not understand AI like we do, to help pour back into people in their personal lives and how to protect themselves moving forward too. And something that we've really seen in the market is that when AI came out, it was really a lot of machine learning, and there's a lot of nomenclature around what is AI and what is machine learning. But then it moved into more generative AI, where we're taking in all these logs and flows and events, and we're putting them in a much more readable format, but then starting to collapse those events into where a team might be getting thousands of events a day, and manually trying to pick through those in almost an impossible way of identifying threats, where Sekion came around and they were able to, leveraging Gen AI and machine learning, take those alerts, collapse them, start to analyze them, and really put threats in front of our team. And that has been an amazing effort that both businesses have put forth to do that. And honored to have Roger Newton by my side for a long time, from a logically standpoint, and in our working careers together. And he's a tremendous AI and SOC leader, and you'll get to hear from him in a little bit. But it's really impacted his team a lot by being able to reduce the amount of noise that they see. Being able to put real life threats in front of them too, so they can then go take action, and we can better protect and better serve our customers. The next stages of this really is agentic AI. And agentic AI, again, from Chandra's perspective, I feel like they were one of the first to be out in front of this. Is think about if you had your SOC or your security operations center, and they were able to really dig deep on threats, but also if it's 24/7, and I hope that everybody who's providing security is providing 24/7 eyes on glass, because the attackers don't sleep. So it's not like we can take weekends off and shut down our computers at 5 and think that the hackers are going to stay on our schedule too, and businesses are only open Monday through Friday and 8 to 5, and we all play fair by those rules, because it doesn't work that way. So by leveraging the Sekion platform, you're able to then use agentic AI to say, hey, okay, maybe if I'm going to have a staffing challenge, or I want to be a lot quicker with my response, you can leverage agentic AI to then take actions against what it's seeing. You can look at the alert level thresholds that are taking place and say, if I see these different things taking place, I want to take different actions against endpoints. I want to take actions against firewalls. And that is really one of the next big steps for not only Sekion, but for our industry, in general, is that people need to really start to leverage that technology. And Chandra and the team has done a fantastic job of being one of the forefront leaders of that. And then pouring back into the Gen AI is that we're going to remove a lot of the false positives that take place. And this ends up becoming a great thing, but also ends up becoming a challenge that I feel like we've just scratched the surface of. I personally started my career as a developer, and then I moved into being a entry-level security analyst, where I was reading logs one by one, line events every day, and then making a judgment call on whether I should take action or not. That is how I learned in this industry, being an entry-level employee. What is now going to happen is that role is almost going to cease to exist in that manner. There will always be an entry level role, but think about how challenging it would be as a new person moving into security that you no longer have the entry level roles to take a look at, understanding logs, what it means for the device, what it means for outbound, inbound traffic, what it means for cross pollination. That those types of events and alerts are really getting collapsed already by Gen AI. So now we're going to see, I believe, in the next 3 to 5 years, a large staffing challenge because we're still going to need security experts, but there's going to be a gap between the entry level people and then the people that we need. So we will have to take it upon ourselves to train those people, but it's also something that you really need to take a look at. Where Gen AI plays a great role in that is that now I'm big on stories. It's known that a large percentage of the world we retain information and we learn much better if it's in story format. And what I mean by that is, being able to break it down in its finest essence. So being able to leverage then Gen AI to take a look at the day, the week, the month, the quarter, however you want to look at it and say, hey, this is what actually happened from a Sekion perspective. We saw this many events. We turned it into this many threats. It was this many alerts. Roger Newton's team spent this much time on it. And these are the things that actually came out of it. We saw this much traffic going to this country. These are the type of attacks or threats that we saw, making it very simple for not only entry level people to start to understand how SOCs are supposed to work and Security Operations Center and Gen A and Agentic AI can be used in these, but also then for the people that are paying the bills. Because they want to understand what the value is. And it's very difficult sometimes in these businesses to be able to take reports that just show you trending of analysis of alerts and threats and maybe things that were stopped and then traffic patterns. That really doesn't show some executives and people that probably are the ones signing off on whether there is value to what you're providing from a security perspective of, is it worth the money that I'm spending? But if you can break it down into a story format of how you are leveraging this technology, you are leveraging your SOC team and your very talented people to protect the business and drive value, that is of a great benefit to you and is of a great benefit to the business. And Chandra's team is doing some amazing work with those types of efforts. And the next one too is return on investment. And I really believe that with AI starting to play a much larger role, you're going to see this conversation pop up a lot in the next 12 to 24 months of customers. And again, people that are responsible for budgeting and paying these bills, wanting to understand in detail what is the ROI that they are getting out of anything that they do, specifically when it comes to tool sets and security, because it's already in their mind that, hey, there's probably less human work being done here. So am I paying too much? Should I be able to draw my price down? And what is my ROI on this? We all need to be prepared as security practitioners to be able to start to answer that question and to quantify what your ROI is for your SOC. Chandra, I'll pause there, see if you have any thoughts on what I said.
No, I think that was said very well, because you see, one of the key things I want to just kind of emphasize that, the value you are adding and providing to the business is a very big thing, and that it should be in a very easy way for them to understand in a story format. And that is a really key things. I want to just repeat what Josh has mentioned, that, if you provide that in the story format, people understand what you are bringing on the table and all that. In the last couple of days, there was some discussion about it, but we have to take it to the next level, because if we don't take it to the next level, then it's people will kind of still have their doubts what is happening and all that in there. And one of the things I do wanted to add was Josh has been talking about that, hey, domain specific AI, it's like your agentic AI, Gen AI, all of those are going to be playing a lot of big roles into the industry we are working on. Most of the people now already understand how Gen AI is changing the whole way you kind of go and search anything on the internet and all that. You understand that there is a industry who has been there for a long period of time to do the advertisement and all that. That industry is pretty scared right now because people are not interested in into seeing those 50 advertisement anymore. They are using more of these Gen AI tools to do their searches and get to what they are looking for at a very much is like a fraction of seconds, instead of like going through the pages by pages which is relevant to read and all that in there. So Gen AI is changing that, but the same Gen AI has a good way, as he was pointing out, that it's like you have L1, L2 education, that it's like any information you can take it. See, for domain specific AI, definitely your current Gen AI kind of tool cannot scale to the point when just to give you guys an idea that logically has more than 600 customers, and they are processing more than 100 billion events per day and all that. If you try to handle that with the Gen AI and give them to do something, it will crash and burn. So basically, that's where it comes down to that having that, it's like domain specific AI, which gets like noise to signal ratio significantly kind of like managed, where Raja team comes in, and now having the agentic AI and Gen AI to kind of make the cybersecurity professional much more efficient, and agentic AI to triage and bring everything together and all that. And I'll say is like, the vision which JAS had, since we have been a partner for last 7 years now, or maybe even more, that vision we have been taking, we are talking with him as well as, it's like Raja. Just to give you guys idea, it's like I know I will do the intro to Raja later on, but Raja comes in like, every quarter, sometimes 6 months, and spend couple of days with the team going through, because amount of the things he sees, a lot of time you guys hear about the 0 day and all that in there. He is behind those 0 day. He is the one who is discovering and informing the people, and those people are taking care of it. So he and his team does that kind of like a scale and work, and that is made possible by the leadership which is instilling into their team. And that leadership comes from the JAS. That's right, that, hey, look, we have to be transparent with our customers. We have to kind of like mentor our people. We have to give them opportunity to be the best they can be. So one thing I do want to point out is like when you guys are hearing from the JAS, he's not only technology leader, he is a people leader in the ideal sense. And I always look forward for his updates, because I read sometimes those into LinkedIn, some other places, because I'm looking to learn from those. And a lot of things we have learned and we have implemented into in our practice as well. So that's something I just wanted to share with the people. But I'm pretty sure for Jas, I will have some additional questions, like, what he's saying in the future, like, next 5 years, what are some of the thought he has, and from innovation point of view, and both into the like the humans like development, as well as, it's like technical development, people, process, and technology, all those three. I would love to him to close with that comment, there. So, Josh, if you don't mind taking that, that will be very helpful for everybody on the session we have. And just to give a guys idea, we have almost 1,000 people right now have joined the session. So all of them kind of like, definitely love to hear from you, Josh, about that next 5 years, what is coming and what we should do to keep ourselves ahead of those threat actors and nation actors.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. I mean, but like I said, AI has been around for quite a while now, right? And it's just really gained a lot of popularity probably since ChatGPT is what really made it popular and pushed to the forefront. There's stats out there now that are saying that in the last 12 months, 87% of all cyber attacks that have happened have been touched by AI in some aspect. And phishing is always number one that is there for the way that attackers are typically getting in and leveraging some social engineering through that. Over 40% of those attacks in the last 12 months have been all by leveraging some type of Gen AI, and they're getting much better, right? So it used to be the old email that would come that had a bunch of misspelled words and they were asking you to do crazy things, and it was done that way for a reason, right? It was done that way to find the people that would fall for those types of threats, and they would act on them and send them money and do all kinds of other things, give them credentials. But generative AI, what it's doing now is it's allowing people to really go out there and scrub multiple social media sites, scrub everything on the internet about a person, scrub their LinkedIn, and it puts something very real together that is hard for most people to determine whether it is legitimate or it's fake or they shouldn't do anything at all. To me, I tell everybody always be skeptical about everything, whether that's in business or personal. You should always be skeptical about those types of things, and that's probably the best thing that you could do moving forward. And from a future perspective, I think that fundamentally things will look quite different in 5 years than how we do it now. I do believe that AI is going to play a massive role in what we're doing today from a cybersecurity perspective. I believe that you will also see a lot of tool consolidation. As this happens, you will see vendors either partnering or coming together because of this. We for decades now have run in such a fragmented space where there are experts in all of these domains from a security perspective, and they each have their own platform and their own software. And AI is really going to force people to have strong partnerships with each other and work together and share data, potentially merge together as organizations, where I believe that a lot of these technologies will fall by the wayside, and some of those businesses that are pretty massive today will cease to exist because of that. There's just so much power that can come from being able to share all of this data that we have and that those businesses have. And make no mistake about it, AI is powerful when it has great data. And the more data that you can feed it, the more powerful it can become. So if you put rather large organizations together that have access to lots of data and events and flows, then the sky is the limit for those types of technologies. I really believe that we'll see a lot more adoption of real-time threat detection and immediate response that will come through a lot of agent thing, and have to take some trust of these, agents are just doing what we feel like is best. And I had the honor of spending about 20 minutes with one of the CISOs and AI leaders for one of the probably top 5 largest businesses in the world. And I was asking about, hey, give a real example of how powerful AI is that like most people wouldn't understand. And again, I'm big on the data, and it comes back to data. And he said that one of the first tests they ran in their lab was a driving test. And they gave 1,000 humans the exact same driving test, and it was just a written thing. And when they got to a stoplight, after they'd done all of these instructions, they were all asked whether they were supposed to go right or left, based off of some of the other summary information they were given, and 1,000 people said you were supposed to go right. They ran it through AI, and 1,000 times AI went left. And it took them 2 months to understand why AI was going left, but eventually they did figure it out, and the AI was right. So think about that just as an example, that 1,000 people all believe that we're supposed to go right given the data and the way that we can process data, but a computer, because of the data that it receives, is able to make a judgment call that is right and is different than what 1,000 other people said. You'll see that a lot more with accuracy and speed when it comes to cybersecurity in the next 5 years, I really believe. I do believe, though, in the next 5 years, as I mentioned earlier, we will see a massive increase in demand for AI skills for 5, 10, 15-year plus veterans in the space of cybersecurity. But what we think is a gap now in this space will be an ever-growing gap. And I might be on the opposite side of this because some people believe the gap will close because of AI. I think the gap is going to widen because you're, again, not going to have those entry-level roles for people to get up to speed. So we're going to have to find another way. And I believe that is, which is one of my, professional, ethos, is to train people very well, is that businesses are going to have to dedicate time to hiring entry-level people, knowing that they are not capable of doing the work that we want them to do yet, and they don't have the knowledge and the wisdom that we need them to, but we are okay with that, and we are going to train them, and we are going to help expand them personally and professionally. Businesses are going to have to really lean into that if we want to be successful in the cybersecurity space moving forward. Because I just really believe that there's going to be a huge demand for increased cybersecurity skills. And then there will be job displacement. And I don't say that to scare people because, if you look back in the history of the world, there's always been job displacement. Like something else came along. You look at manufacturing. Roger Newton's a great example of this. The guy has recreated himself. Couldn't be more proud of him. Worked in manufacturing for an extremely long time. And the wave came along where manufacturing became a lot more efficient through robots and robotics. And Roger had to go back to school and reinvent himself. And now he is, an excellent cybersecurity engineer and leader and manager in this space. Tremendous knowledge and wisdom. And that is what is going to happen with other people. There's going to be an opportunity for people to increase skills and move into other roles. And that is what we really practice and what we preach at Logically, is that we have completely leaned into AI. And I would challenge all of you in your businesses to lean into AI. But we have to be prepared to train our people, move them into other roles as well. That is our job. That is what we have to do as leaders, is to help prepare them personally and professionally for their best success while setting the business up for success too. And I do wholeheartedly believe that you can do both of those things. And I believe that's a lot will happen in the future from an AI perspective. And just so everybody on here, I think would be a great opportunity, is that we leaned heavily into AI, and I challenge our entire company that every month, every department will lean into AI. So every month they have to go find a new technology, do research, look into how their department could be better and better leverage AI. And at the end of the month, every department reports out on that. It doesn't mean that you are actually putting AI into practice that month, but it does mean that every month, every department is taking a step forward in trying to leverage AI for the benefit of themselves, for our customers, and for the company as well.
Yeah, that was extremely kind of informative, and I think all of us should learn from that. And few things I will just like reiterate. Ethos to the people, it's like where you take the people and making sure that it's like young professionals, you are investing in them, and even the people who had been in the industry for a long period of time. All of us has to learn. So you guys heard from him. It's like, hey, every team is supposed to come back and say that, hey, what we have done using the AI to benefit themselves, customers, the department, making themselves very efficient and all that in there. And there is a huge amount of opportunity, as Jas pointed out, guys. I know in Sakyan we have been talking about that. Hey, same similar thing that we huge amount of opportunity is going to be created. We just have to make sure that everybody is getting upskilled and ready to take on into those opportunities. If you don't, then you will be falling behind, and we don't want anybody to be falling into that. And that's something for all the people, all the partners, cybersecurity professionals on this kind of like a call. I just want to make sure that all the 5 points he kind of like pointed out for the future, I strongly kind of second him. Those are the things are going to be happening, are already happening there. And we just want to make sure that the people who are with us, who we are able to touch it, they get to the next level and the flourish into the next phase of the what you call it, the word kind of going to be moving in. And it's going to be exciting. If you are having a fun and you learn from those, it's going to be exciting. And you can see you can do a lot, and we have to do a lot, because see, cybersecurity is going to be a big challenge. Similarly, anything you do in the business is going to be, some of the big businesses who does not adopt, they will disappear. I mean, they have disappeared. A lot of businesses, like even 20 years back, they used to run the whole world. Now you kind of go and say, hey, do you know about this company? A lot of young people will not even remember that. So huge amount of opportunity in front of us, as Josh has pointed out, guys. And I'll say there is a lot of leaders from the team are there. Take some of these 5 practices he pointed out. I'll say just take all of those 5 and put into action into your organization as well. And as an individual, definitely that message resonate well as well. And we will be hearing from Roger. Just we will transition into it. So, Josh, thank you. And I just want to, if you want to add some last word, and then we are going to transition into Roger to hear real world kind of like experiences. And we are going to put him on the hot seat. Tom is ready for that. So, Josh, any last word before we transition into
Hey, Charlie,
Roger
can I say
Fireside
something
Chat?
first? Can I say something first?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just want to thank both Josh and Roger for being here. We've been working with you, Josh, for, I don't know, over 7 years now. I don't remember how long it's been since we met. And I've been at a lot of events with you, got to listen to you. You always get up, give a talk on a particular topic, but I've always appreciated your how deep you think into things and how you present it. It's very well received. And everyone here, hopefully you can appreciate, Josh always provides great insight into many different topics, but today it happened to be AI. And Roger, thank you. You're a pleasure to work with and have a drink with. So hopefully our next talk will go well.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Josh,
Chandra,
final words? Yeah, go ahead.
Chandra, Tom, thanks so much for the partnership. I greatly appreciate it. We've done some amazing things together. Certainly things to be proud of. Just great people, first and foremost, is what I would say. And I always appreciate the opportunity to come see both of you and speak to like-minded people and security practitioners. And you're really good hands with Roger. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Roger. He's been amazing to work with, to see his growth. He's got an amazing story, got a lot of talent. And again, I appreciate both of you. Thanks so much for the partnership, and I hope you have a good close to the day.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thanks, Josh. Okay, so I love to just like welcome first Roger. So few words about Roger. It's like he is kind of like a leader who you can think about that. He lives and kind of like and fight with all those threat actors from the front line each and every day. He leads a cybersecurity team at the Logically, which is protecting more than 600 customers around the globe. And just to give you guys an idea, he is dealing with more than 100 billion events which are being converted from all those kind of event into the certain meaningful alerts and then taking care of those and all that. He's not just a SOC leader. He is a strategist, a mentor, and force for turning cybersecurity chaos into the calm. He's that kind of a person. Under his leadership, logically has detected, as I pointed out, many of those zero-day threats early and helped the vendor assign the CVE and before rest of the world even know about it. So he's that kind of a leader. He's a passionate about empowering the next generation of cybersecurity professionals. Just as Josh was talking about, uh, Roger takes those and makes them a reality. And one of the things, as Josh was pointed out, that Roger is a great story for anybody who want to kind of see that, hey, how you can like transform not only the what you are doing, but it's like transform yourself, and it's like he's not just kind of separating noise from the real threats today is using AI, ML, dynamic threat models, and many other things in there. But he is a person who has transformed himself. Such a great story. So, it's like I cannot even be enough of the proud to have him join us and share some of his experiences, and then we will be doing some Q&A over here. But Roger, if you don't mind taking a couple of minutes to just talk about your story and introduce yourself, that will be very helpful.
Sure, Chandra, and thanks so much for having me today. Excuse me. I'm battling some allergies, so uh, but yeah. So as my CEO at Logically here, Skeens, he had noted that I spent a significant amount of time in manufacturing. Uh, Fortunately for me, I made quite a bit of money, and every single time I would go to a college and I would ask them about programming or some form of IT work, it was always a significant pay decrease. Um, and so, as manufacturing progressed, I lost my job to a robot essentially. So it allowed me to look around the landscape, and I was directed toward internet security. They didn't even call it cybersecurity then. Internet security, computer security. I started to really dig into it, and I was fascinated uh, by what I was learning and seeing. So I went down to the college, signed up, and essentially the rest is history.
Thanks, Roger. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So as I had pointed out, Roger is dealing with more than 100 billion events per day across all of his different customers. And, he has been a driving force of a lot of innovations. All of you guys see at the multi-tier, multi-tenancy level, where you are able to see that you can analyze most of your customers and take action across them together. He was the driving force behind that. And that comes with like when you are saying a lot of things together and you have to drive the efficacy and efficiency. So just from that point of view, Raja, your team as logically deals with all of that. And how do you cut through the noise and focus on what matter the most? How does your day to day looks like? I know that
Yeah.
Sakyan definitely works with you, but you guys do a lot on innovations on your side as well, and you guide your team. So love you to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So from the aspect of wading through you know, a tremendous amount of alerts. I can tell you that obviously with Sekion's AI, the number of alerts that we get is significantly smaller than we would get from another platform. But one of the things that we do very early on is when we onboard a customer, we'll work with them, you know, to see, you know, because what's good for one environment may not be good for another. So we'll reach out repeatedly and have meetings. Hey, we're seeing this, and so that not only is the AI is tuning, we're tuning as well, so that we get to a point where the alert levels are very manageable, and we're getting rid of the false positives so that the true positives really stick out. An example would be recently we had a customer, I would say they're probably about 90 days in now. When they started week 1, we had 100 alerts. By week 4, we had 3. And so just to provide an example of the capabilities of the AI learning and the tuning from the team.
Great, great. So I know that your platform is called Sentry XDR 360, and you pointed out that it's like, hey, you want to kind of like do everything to avoid the burnout of your SOC team. You have a 24/7 SOC team. So love to kind of like just walk through one of the because I know that you guys almost thrust more than 30, 40 ransomware attack each and every month. And a lot of time that some of the big vendor in the industry have taken approach, let the attack progress all the way through when then rapid file access and encryptions are kind of being triggered at that time, make invite that, hey, you have a ransomware. And that way you can say, okay, look what we have done, but that's a too late in the game. And your team has been very proactive. Proactive has its advantage as well as disadvantage. The disadvantage is customer does not appreciate that much, and advantage is basically you have taken care of that early on, so that customer does not have to go all the incident response and spends sometimes $500,000 or multi-million as well. So love you to talk about maybe one of the incident which you had recently and does not have to go through any customer or any proprietary information.
Sure. As you were stating, some of the security platforms out here, the bells and whistles go off as ransomware is being deployed. Really, that's one of the last stages of the game. Recently, we just had a customer who had a SSL VPN compromise where the threat actor logged in from within the US. So this is one of the things that we're noticing. Threat actors are realizing that there are eyes on the environment and they're changing their tactics. And so not that the days of foreign logins are gone, but they're significantly less. They're using IPs within the US, compromised systems within the US, VPNs, and they're attempting brute force attacks through those, or in this case, a threat actor had actually gained access into a customer environment through an IP in the US for a US-based customer. But when they logged in, they attempted some Kerberoasting and did a ping sweep of the environment, which set off a alert to my team that was allowed to run at that and eliminate the threat, essentially contacting the customer, getting the account locked down, And then at that point, you know, an analysis of what happened to allow that threat actor into the environment, but stopping it well before the threat actor has an ability to map the network, download data, you know, because again, ransomware is going to be one of the last steps of their infiltration into the environment.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And Mr. Roger, you also have very large OT deployment. And one of the things I do want to kind of share with the people that Roger and his team, a lot of people just talk about convergence of OT and IT and all that. And his team, for the last 6 7 years, has had that vision, and they had that the deployment probably more than 6 years back, whereas one of the largest OT and IT converged kind of network. They are kind of like monitoring it together. So some of the things, is like, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about that, it's like how you guys kind of like saw that coming, because most of the people just have started talking about IT and OT convergence, but you guys had done it almost 5 years back, or in fact 6 years back. And it's like, that kind of like, what you call it, advancement, you guys see very early in the game. So looking at some of those things, what you guys have been doing and all that, one thing I wanted to make sure that, look, if you can talk a little about the convergence, and then also when you are looking to hire the new team members into your team, what kind of the quality you look for so that they can thrive into in your environment, which is mostly pretty much is like modern as well as AI driven, kind of like SOC operation. What are the things you are looking into the people, and then little bit on the convergence? If you can talk a little bit about both of them, that will be very helpful.
Sure. From the aspect of our SOC analysts, uh, I, Josh Skeens had touched on this just a little bit. And from the AI aspect, as Josh stated, he feels like that's going to widen. One of the things is obviously when I'm interviewing somebody, I'll go through questions to give me a base of what their knowledge is in the industry. Once I determine their base level of knowledge, from a skill set, then I really, and that's maybe 20% of my interview. The rest of the interview is how passionate are you about what it is that you're trying to get into and what you're trying to do, and you know, what's your personality? Are you going to be a fit with this team? Empathy, because there will be times where you'll need to work with a customer that is in a very unfortunate situation, and you have to have the ability to be empathetic to what they're going through. And so, uh, once I get through the baseline of what their skill set is, then it's more about cultural fit. And the other reason for it is not just about the empathy part, is there are a lot of smart people in the world, and I can teach you the ones and zeros of IT. I cannot teach you to be empathetic or a good team player. And so that part of it is very important to us here at Logically.
Yeah, I
From
think that's. Go ahead. Go
Oh, go ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, from the convergence part, very early on, there were some challenges, and and Sekion was with us from the IT/OT convergence. There were some challenges very early on and Sekian was with us step for step, which is, I can't speak appreciatively enough for all that your team did, Chandra, helping us get everything spun up and in getting everything running. From the aspect of the monitoring and the alerting part of it, for me, just to keep it somewhat simple, is that OT environments, because they don't have internet access. It makes the monitoring of everything, it makes it easy, I believe, because they don't operate in the same manner as a normal network. So that part of it. From the aspect of the monitoring section, I'm circling back here a little bit, but when we hire somebody and we're training them, one of the first things I tell them is that though it's not necessarily needed because of AI, like they'll ask me, well, what's important? Like, what's important is go learn the ports that an attacker would use, the very common ports, and how can they, and how they use those protocols to their advantage. Because I believe, and how the traffic flows, because I believe that allows my team to be that much quicker. So when they see something, though AI will have it all laid out for them, that they may still not necessarily fully understand what's happening. And if they have that base set where they built that foundation, it's much easier to see and quicker to see. You can see it early on. And so that's one of the things that I really stress as when we're bringing somebody on, is to build that base part out, which I'm hoping, obviously we're very early on in the AI game, will help employees of Logically SOC mature and progress through as AI becomes more and more prevalent.
Hey,
Excellent.
just quick
Go
comment.
ahead,
We're running out of time here, but I want
Yeah.
to say that I wish everyone would have the opportunity I've had to sit with Roger, talk through attacks, actually see him in action on the platform. I mean, I actually remember an experience he had where he detected an attack early, very early, and alerted the customer, and the customer didn't believe it, right? So he told him, "Look, I've seen these footprints. I see these fingerprints that are coming in." I think the customer actually did get either ransomed or data
They
exfiltrated.
did get ransomware. They did get ransomware. They did not believe us, and they did get ransomware.
But I think
I
they
mean, it's
then
not funny,
finally,
but
yeah, but then they actually decided to go with fuller coverage after that, I think, if I recall
correct.
correctly. So again, I wish everybody could experience what I've got to experience with Roger. And we really appreciate you being here. I wish we could have longer, wish everyone could have the experience we've had with you. But
Yeah, I
thank
think,
you so
Tom, I
much.
will have a couple more questions and then we will wrap it up. So uh, one one thing I do wanted to point out, that Raja pointed out that, almost 5, 6 years back, when we did the first OT IT deployment convergence, we had to work together because one of the biggest OT environment, we had to work together. We had to do a lot of innovations, development together. And believe me, that is still today in the world of, like, if you look into ITOT, nobody has anything like that. So, and a lot of that work was done together as a kind of like a co-creation work there with Roger team, as well as Sakyan team, as well as the customer. That's right, because not a lot of product you can run into, as he pointed out, those air gap network and do the convergence as well in there. So uh, I cannot say enough about that innovation which was done for that, and we are building upon it. One thing I do wanted to ask Roger before you leave us, I wish I have a lot of time, but if you can leave with one, means like lesson from your defending, it's like many customers at a large scale, what are the sum of that one lesson will be with the peoples who are on the call?
Yeah, for it, it would be to be diligent, to only there there really is something to only providing the access needed to complete a job. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen instances where companies have allowed something to be much bigger than it needed to be, and it leaves them vulnerable. So be diligent in access, the allowed access. Don't allow anything inbound that isn't absolutely necessary. Don't provide any account any more access than is necessary. Review your, review permissions constantly. And if you do those things, it will go a long way to helping protect yourself.
Yeah, it's a really great lesson. And Roger, I wish we had a lot more time, but thank you so much for sharing so much insight there. It's very helpful. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Chandra.
Thanks,
Thank you,
thanks,
Tom.
Roger.
Have